Welcome to another episode of In My 20s Diaries. It's been a while, but I'm still in my 20s, and I thought this diary would be particularly about finishing my first book. I didn't know if that was going to be a thing that I did in my 20s. Actually saying that out loud makes me very reflective and a little bit teary-eyed, but I do that every time I reflect about writing a book, so I'm not gonna do that right now. I started writing my romance novel, Just Friends, in June of 2024, and then I completed this first draft, and ever since then, I have been balancing writing this book, first draft, this second draft, this third draft, this fourth draft, all of these versions, and finally this one, which is not even the final one, with reading books for my YouTube channel that is about reading books. So in this video, I thought I would give you a glimpse into what it's been like to finish writing my first novel and just documenting the books that I read in between, and also a little bit of cooking, because this entire series started with me not being able to cook, and now I know how to make a very fun dish. But let's start a month and a half ago when I had a very important deadline. It's Sunday evening. Ryan got on a plane yesterday. Bree got on a plane yesterday. So she's staying here with me while Ryan is on a trip for a week for a YouTube video. But my prerogative this week, my number one important goal is to do the final edits of Just Friends, my romance novel that comes out March 3rd of 2026. I have 5 more days until I turn this in, and it is genuinely the last time I'm allowed to touch it before it goes to print, which is so crazy because I've told people a million times, these are the last edits, and then something comes up where it's like a little bit more. This is the previous version that I printed out, and I did a different spiral edge so that I could be able to tell the difference between them. And this was a crazy moment. I actually got the first early copies, or ARC's advanced reader copies of Just Friends, and it's the first time I've gotten to see it bound, but this version still lacks a ton of the edits that I made. And there's a few people out in the world who are reading this, which just pains me a little bit because it doesn't have the changes, but it's gonna be fine. All of the changes that I made are gonna be in your version. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. I'm on chapter 12 right now. I'm halfway through, and we're filming a fun vlog for Bree's channel, and I'll probably finish editing this by tomorrow, which means I could also start filming a fun reading vlog. So let's get into editing. Done. That does not feel real that it's actually the last time.
That's crazy.
Good morning, guys. It's only about 2 weeks later from those last clips that you just saw. I am so congested right now because last night I went to go watch The Killers at a music festival, which is super unlike me. I mean, I have to really love the artist to go out to a concert, and even then it's like pulling teeth to get me to go because it just stresses me out, the thought of like, how are all of those people gonna get to their house afterward. I really wanted to see The Killers, so I went, and I already have bad allergies as it is, but a festival where there's dust and grass being kicked up is a recipe for this the next morning. So it was so worth it though, I've gotta say. That means it's also been 2 weeks since I turned in the very final draft of Just Friends, which isn't it crazy that we already have these printed out and people are reading this, and then I just turned in a different version of it that's gonna be published. But now, since I'm not actually working on writing the book, we've been working on some different things to get published, and of course all of it is new to me since this is my first time doing all of this. One of those things being reaching out to authors and asking them to read the book, and then if they like it, to give it a little review, or what we call a blurb. For example, here's a blurb at the top of this book, and I've definitely picked up books because of the blurbs on them, so it's a pretty important part of the process, not to mention a very nerve-wracking and embarrassing part of the process, because you're asking these authors to read your book, which is already kind of asking a lot, and then to say why they liked your book. And since I'm a debut author, I've never given a blurb, so it's not like a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of thing. It's just like a, it's just nice, you know? And now I'm working on bonus content for the first printing of Just Friends, so anyone who pre-orders the book will get this copy. I'm annotating one of the chapters, which is so exciting. I remember while writing my book thinking of the things that I would annotate if I ever got the chance to, like references that I was making, or there are a couple lines in the book, and I just made a couple, like maybe 2 or 3, that are supposed to be kind of nudges or like allusions or like a little head nod towards my favorite books ever. And one of them is in this chapter, so I got to point out where that was and what I did with the line, and then also a thank you letter at the beginning of the book. So that's what I'm gonna be working on right now. And then afterward, I'm gonna keep reading a book that I started that I'm very excited about. It's Ali Hazelwood's new book, Mate. I was gonna make it a surprise, but I started it on my Kindle yesterday and I'm like halfway through it now and I'm very excited to get back to that. But let's annotate this chapter. Let's get it. I've done 7 out of 16 pages. Okay, a little more vulnerable in these annotations than I think I was supposed to be, but that's probably fine. So crazy to read these words when I haven't been working on it in a while. I can't wait to read this in like 5 years and actually have forgotten enough of it to see it with fresh eyes, because it's just impossible at this point to see it with fresh eyes. I finished annotating the chapter, went a little bit more personal there than I was expecting to, and I did just get confirmation that if you want the annotated chapter in your version of the book, you will get it if you pre-order Just Friends, because this is only for the first printing of the book. So the pre-orders will definitely be included in the first printing, and then I don't know how many other ones are included in that. So that'll be really cool because it's like the first printing of my first book ever, and that will never exist again. Oh, I also haven't talked about this. You can get it in the UK now. You can get it in Australia. It's gonna be in Spanish, which is so exciting. But now I've been reading Mate, Ali Hazelwood's new book. I think it's like an interconnected series with Bride being the first book, and Mate is about her friend or her sister in it. I've just had it on my Kindle and I've been reading that. The allergies have been progressing, so my nose is a bit more red, and I'm really liking it so far, but I feel like it's the most different Ali Hazelwood book I've read, and it's almost to the point where it felt like I had brain fog at the beginning reading it because I wasn't processing any of the stuff that I was reading. But I think it's because it's kind of a different genre for me. It's following these werewolves. Like, our main girl character is half werewolf, half human, and there's a lot of werewolf politics. It kind of feels like, to me, like a fan fiction of Twilight if Bella was actually in love with Jacob and then she had to get involved with like all the werewolf politics. So there's a lot of people coming in and out of houses all the time. There's a lot of moving Serena to different locations, and then also timelines were jumping back and forth, and since I didn't have the physical copy, I feel like I was just getting confused. So I kind of want to go buy the physical copy because, like I said, I'm 70% through and I want to read the last part with my eyeballs on paper. It's definitely spicy, but I've been wanting to reread The Love Hypothesis, her first published work, so I think I might do a rereading my favorite book to see if there's still 5 stars video soon, because I really want to go back to this and see what was so addictive about it. Also, tomorrow I go to New York super fast. We land at like 7 p.m. and then we're leaving the next day, so I don't even know if we're going to be there for 24 hours, but we're going to a YouTube related event and Ryan is speaking. But my goal is to get one cute fall New York photo with a cute outfit on. I've been trying to step up my fashion game. You can go to my Instagram and decide how that's going. I'm not trying to be like crazy fashionista. I just don't want to feel like I look like I don't know how to dress, which is true, but I don't want you to be able to tell that visually. So. I'm packed and it's a very short trip, but I packed 2 outfits that could potentially fulfill my New York City photo bucket list item. And I did finish Mate by Ali Hazelwood yesterday. I never actually went to the bookstore to buy it, and now that I've finished it on Kindle, I'm kind of glad because I don't think I'm going to buy it in the physical copy. It feels like a fever dream that I read that yesterday. It was a lot more spicy, number one, but also I feel like there was way more politics and werewolf stuff. I guess this one is vampires, which feel more human. Both of these books feel like different offshoots of Twilight, which I love. But Mate, you're following a half human, half werewolf girl, and then the guy is a werewolf. But then I was thinking about that this morning because they're not always wolves. Like, there's a human form, but they kept saying that they're not human. So what is he when he's not a wolf? I don't know, that's kind of confusing. But yeah, it was really spicy and like werewolfy, so that wasn't my jam necessarily. And then when it wasn't spicy, it was very politic heavy with like the werewolves and stuff. So overall, it was a favorite author who wrote in a genre that is not for me. So I still liked the writing, but I didn't like the book, if that makes sense. And what I will read on the plane, I have no idea. I might read some nonfiction. I might just journal on the plane. We will see. Know what to say. Stop and run around. Oh, you act like a kid. I am not your mama. Just admit what you did. I got enough to do. Then hang around and wait. We're on our way to the airport, and I think, I haven't checked yet, but I think I got my one photo in my one outfit. We'll see. To grow up and be responsible. It's my heart Even though it was so short, it was so fun, and I kind of missed the fall weather over there. It's like 78 degrees here, which is actually pretty good, but it was like fall in New York. And speaking of fall, we're creeping closer and closer to the holiday gift giving season, so I gotta thank my sponsor of this portion of the video, Google Shopping and Olaplex. Admittedly, I am not that good of a gift giver, but Google Shopping makes this thing called the Google Holiday 100 that uses data over the entire year to track what people have been loving. So for example, the Olaplex No. 7 bonding oil made the list, which I completely agree with, which is why I'm gonna be gifting it to my cousin Macy. She is very good at hair and makeup, so I think she's really gonna like this. I've been using this after washing my hair and before styling because it protects from heat, makes my curls shinier and less frizzy, all without weighing it down. A little goes a long way with this stuff, and it's so lightweight that you can even use it on the little frizzies at the top of your head. Google Shopping even has this tool where you can track if the price of a product is low, typical, or high, and then you can track when it lowers so you can better plan your holiday shopping this year. So shout out to Google Shopping for metaphorically and literally helping me unwrap the holidays. I'm gonna leave the link in the description, and if you find yourself having a hard time thinking of a gift idea, just ask Google. Thank you once again to Google Shopping for helping me learn what the top gifts of the year were, and to Olaplex for being the perfect gift. Macy, I hope you're not watching this. I'm at the bookstore now. I have a few books I want to get. Holly Jackson's thriller that I haven't gotten this year, and it's been out for a while. Might have come out last year, actually. Blake Crouch just released a new book that's already confirmed to be an A24 movie starring Zac Efron. It's called Famous, so I'm gonna try to find that. I've only read one book by him, but it was a 5-star book, Recursion. Man, and I was just thinking how this is one of the last months I can go into this bookstore and not see my book. Like, Just Friends is not released yet. It doesn't exist in these bookstores, but then one day when it does exist, it just will be out there. It's like giving birth to my first child. Obviously very different from giving birth from my first child, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm living in the before of this creation existing. And once I live in the after, I will only ever live in the after. I will never come back to this moment where it's the before. To clarify, I don't mean that I won't be able to avoid my book in the store. I just am saying it's like it's almost a sacred time where nothing that I've ever created, word-wise, novel-wise, is out in the ether. Apart from me, it's still kind of safe in my womb, if you will. And then once it's out, you can't put it back in the tube. Toothpaste out of the tube, can't put it back in. That kind of thing, you know? So many metaphors here. So there's a safeness I feel now that I will never be able to feel again once my first work is published. Just Friend's birthday is 3/3/26. Put it on your calendar. It's a fun one to remember, 3/3. But anyways, let's go in there. And then I'm gonna go to allergy shots and start whatever book I buy. It's cheating season, for God knows reason. Stop making up. Look who's back. I ended up not getting allergy shots because I arrived too late, but regardless, I did buy Famous by Blake Crouch, and it looks very short, which I'm very excited about because, like I said, I'm in the mood to binge read, and I am 9 books. Actually, I think I might be 10 books behind my reading goal for the year, and reading goals are just set for fun, but regardless of the reading goal, I am in the mood to binge read, so I'm gonna get started with this. But first, I got sent a very exciting email. It was about the audiobook of Just Friends, and they sent me 4 different narrators with samples of their voices. They are all Vietnamese, which is super cool. I didn't even realize that they would find people who are actually Vietnamese for me, but obviously it makes a ton of sense. For context, it makes sense because in the book, her great aunt Lottie is an immigrant from Vietnam. She is 100% Vietnamese. Blair's mom is half Vietnamese, like me, and then Blair herself would be a quarter Vietnamese, which is funny because I never actually say that in the book, but if you do the lineage, you can figure that out. Or I just told you, so now you know. So Blair is like if I had a child with a white man. And am I married to a white man? Yes, I am. So is Blair my child? She is the child from my brain, so kind of. Anyways, I need to listen to all of these samples of other audiobook that they've done, which is so exciting, and then I have to choose one that I want to narrate my words, which is so crazy. It's so cool that you're even allowed to be involved in the process of choosing that. I didn't know if that was gonna be a thing. I got a lot of questions asking me if I was going to narrate my own book, which I did consider, but I don't know how often you listen to audiobooks. They are real actors. Like, they change their voice for every single character, even the guy's voice, and I'm not capable of doing that. I mean, I probably am capable of doing it. I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it well. So we're gonna leave that to the experts. Maybe one day I can read I mean, there's no author's note in my book, so I don't know what I could read, but I'm gonna listen to these samples now. I don't know if I can play them out loud for you, so might be silent. Excuses when I simply don't care. Why don't you just move on? We ain't going nowhere. I got enough. This is hard. I don't want to make the wrong choice, you know? Love to do, then hang I did it. I think I found the narrator. I don't know if it's a confirmed thing that she wants to do it or if now they just reach out, but there were 4 narrator options and I chose the 4th one. I listened to a few pieces of work from each one of them over multiple days. So this is like the 3rd day that I've listened and I finally came to a conclusion. So hopefully one day you will be hearing their voice. But now it is time to start Famous by Blake Crouch. I can't wait to see what this is about. I have no idea.
Run away for you. I said I got enough to do. Then sit and run away for you to grow up. Yeah. And
It's the next day and I've been reading Famous still and I really need to discuss this book. This is only my 2nd book from Blake Crouch, but it just seems like he's a very good author. This is a thriller. I wasn't really sure what it was going to be because his books are put in the sci-fi section. So Recursion, which I've read, is a time travel book. This one was next to it, so I didn't know what I was gonna get with him. I feel like he just does like mind-blowing, twisty, page-turning books. So this is a thriller and you're really reading from the perspective of a sociopath. We don't really know for sure, but he's definitely not a healthy, well-adjusted person. His name is Lancelot and he is obsessed with this movie star named James Jensen. And I am picturing Zac Efron because it says it'll be a movie with Zac Efron in it. And he looks so similar to him that if he wears a suit, drives a Lamborghini, people believe that he is James Jensen and he can just pretend to be him, order people around, act like a celebrity, get treated like a celebrity. And I've never followed narration from someone's point of view who's such a bad person. And it's humorous, obviously, because he says things you're not supposed to say or think, but he just says them casually. And he just gets himself in these situations where you're like, how is this going to work out? Because you're not a famous actor. So he gets himself into this guy's play that he needs to perform and he's not an actor. He can barely even read his lines. So the whole time you're reading it, you're just like, what is about to happen right now? It's so good. It's so page turning. I'm on page 150 right now and there's only 188 pages. This has got to be one of the shortest books that I've read this year that's not considered a novella. At least I don't think it's considered a novella, but I'm gonna finish the last 30 pages. I have no idea how this is gonna be wrapped up, but there's really no good stopping point. Like every part of this book is readable and funny and crazy and yeah, let's just finish it. I sat down to spend like 20 minutes finishing this book and then I spent an hour posting the photos that I got from New York because they were posting like HDR, which just means the highlights were way blown out. It looks way brighter than the photo actually is. So if you're watching this video, go to that photo and comment great music taste. Those 3 words together don't mean anything, don't worry. It's just a signal that, you know, you came from this YouTube video. No, but the song that I put on the Instagram photo dump, I've been obsessing over, Your Side of Town by The Killers. They didn't play it at the concert, but it's a really good one. But anyways, it's time to finish the last 30 pages. I haven't broken these glasses out in like 2 years on this channel, or a year and a half. I have no concept of time. We're doing a Spock angle because he sits under my desk and I think it's really cute, but I finished Famous and turns out this book is actually not new. This is one of his older works that they republished with a different cover because it got picked up to be an A24 film, which makes a lot more sense because I thought the movie rights had gotten bought before it got released, but then I was like, dang, they really cast Zac Efron so confidently and quickly because they put it on the cover. So this all makes a lot more sense. Like I was saying, it's only 188 pages and it really does feel like he got interrupted and was like, I don't really need a 3rd act. I just need to like finish this thing real quick. And not in a bad way because I honestly really liked the book as a whole and it was a very abrupt ending, but I don't know. I think for me in this very specific mood, it worked because I just wanted something quick and fun to read in a day, to binge read and then to be done with it. And so if you're also in that mood to binge read a quick book and have it be a fast-paced thriller and at every point you just wonder, how is this gonna work out? And it's a great author too. I think you should really pick this book up. I think I'm gonna rate this 4.25 stars. So very recommendable book. And I'm very excited to watch this movie. It sounds like it will actually be very scary. But yeah, the ending of this one was very weird. It was one of those things I had to like go look it up because I was like, does this mean what I think it means? And I didn't really get answers, but I have my own conclusion and that can be fun too. So done with this. And then last night on my Kindle, I started a sample of The Bright Years because Sarah Caroli, it feels funny to say her full name, my friend Sarah has read that book and has been raving about it. And I'm only halfway through the sample and the writing is so amazing. I was trying to highlight, but you can't highlight samples. You have to buy the book. So I think I'm actually going to buy it on my Kindle and start reading that because it definitely seems like 5-star potential. Finally, to the cooking part of this video, a huge point of contention in most of my life life has been not being able to cook. And it's actually a lot of the reason that I started this entire series in my 20s diaries, because I wanted to get my life together and document the progression I made as a human being through my 20s. In that first video, I'm eating McDonald's, I'm eating Taco Bell. Anywhere that had a drive-thru, I would go there and I would eat. That's how I ate growing up. So then I grew up liking that type of food. My gut is used to it and I didn't know how to cook for myself. It's been 3 years since that video, and today I present to you my filet mignon. I can cook a steak now. I usually pair this with some gnocchi that's like frozen and it's really good. I didn't have any today, so I just cooked the steak, but I watched this YouTube video. It was the most comprehensive one that I saw, and honestly I thought the rosemary and thyme in here was just for looks, but you can actually taste it. Like, it's like a buttery rosemary thyme flavor. It's so good, and this is just full-on protein, so I'm very proud of myself, and I feel like it's definitely a landmark in my 20s diaries. We're making progress. That was my dinner last night. Actually, I ate that while watching football, and then today I finally did go get allergy shots. I'm supposed to go like twice a week right now because I'm in the build-up phase, and look at my tricep. I don't know if you can tell, but it gets very swollen and all bruised and stuff. Hopefully one of my in my 20s diaries updates one day is that I don't have as bad of allergies. That would be really great. But I've been reading The Bright Years, and then I wanted to go get it in physical format and they didn't have it, but I still walked out with this bag, so you might be wondering what's inside. First of all, I'm very excited for this book, but I have no context about what it's about. I just know that Olivia Blake has written books that I like, and she just came out with this one called Girl Dinner, so I'm not recommending it yet because I have no idea what's inside. And I think this is like a darkly funny, me just saying what's on the back. Ooh, an exclusive sorority. That's fun for horror. I think it's a satire horror set at a sorority on campus, so this is gonna be good for the fall and winter. Speaking of fall and winter, Given Our History by Kristen J. Miller. This is also set on campus, but I think in a lot more of a wholesome, fun way. I think a love from her past shows up when she's about to become a professor, so it's a second chance romance, which I love. And look how cute this cover is. And then, I didn't know this came out, but I remember seeing it when it was getting promoted. Conform by Ariel Sullivan. If I'm not mistaken, this is the book that they were calling dystomance, which is like a new genre of dystopian romance. I felt like dystopian has wanted to come back for a while, and I hope I'm right, so I'm very excited to read this. I'm definitely in the mood for a dystopian. So those are the books I got. I might have a reading vlog including these soon, hopefully. And as far as The Bright Years go, I'm like 35% through it. The writing is beautiful, but there's definitely a lot of trigger warnings that I would check before reading it. It's not a happy book. It was honestly kind of making me sad yesterday, and I feel like I can read sad books outside of my house and they don't feel quite as bad, but if it's in my house it feels more sad because it's like in my space. I don't know how to describe that. It sounds kind of weird, but I'm gonna keep reading that. I won't be finishing it in this video because this one unfortunately has to come to a close, but I think it was a great landmark in the In My 20s Diaries series. I hope to do more of these soon because I do feel like there are so many things that have changed since I started it, and it's really cool to see the progression. I did not know 3 years ago starting this series that I would finish a romance novel and that I would know how to cook a filet mignon. I honestly feel like the cooking part would be more revolutionary to me than the book if you had told me. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys somewhere else on the internet. Bye!